Hey guys, index card of day 20. I know ICAD is over. It's August now, but we are still powering through. So I have a piece of watercolor paper that I cut down to 3x5 index card size, and I dry embossed using a joggle stencil onto my card. I have some rose quartz dilutions, some magicals in Teapot Purple and Polka Purple, and those are by Lindy's Stamp Gang. And I'm going to do a little bit of watercoloring on the background of my card. So I'm going to start out by just applying a little bit of plain clean water onto my card, just because I feel like that kind of helps feather things out a little, or make things softer when you initially apply the color. Because the dilutions are kind of intense. This is a bit of a lighter dilutions color, but it's still pretty intense. So then I'm going to go in with the Teapot Purple, and it's a pigment powder. If you're unfamiliar with magicals, you just add water to the powder to make the color activate. And I'm going to dry that, and then I'm going to add some of the Polka Purple, which is a darker purple, and I sprinkled some onto my nonstick craft sheet, added some water, and then I'm going to apply it in that way instead of, as opposed to the first magicals that I used, I just sprinkled right onto the card. This is a darker purple, like I said, so I felt like I had more control doing it this way. And then I noticed that the watercolor was, as you could imagine, was pooling in those little like recessed areas from my dry embossing. So I really wanted to go with that. So I'm dropping in the color on the points where the recessed areas of my card are, just to kind of emphasize that texture that's in the background. And then I'm going to try to fade out some of that color. When you're looking at it like two-dimensional, or one-dimensional, it looks like it's just watercolored on, but in real life you could see like that real dimension there. So from doing ICAD, I have all these scraps on my desk that I don't want to throw away. So I put them all in a bag, and I'm going to try to use them. So I'm just going to do a little bit of junk collaging. I'm going to take a piece of canvas, a scrap from a vintage bus ticket. I don't even know what this stuff is. Some fibery kind of stuff, some paper from 7 Dot Studio, some vintage ledger paper, a flower from the dollar store. I like to get flowers from the dollar store and then like rip them apart, like the small ones, because if you're like into flowers, which I'm like not really, like three-dimensional flowers, they can get kind of expensive. So the ones from the Dollar Tree, if you just kind of like cut them apart a little bit, you get that flowered look for a lot cheaper, because you could get like a whole bundle of them for $1. So I'm going to glue my stuff down with some clear tacky glue once I'm happy with my composition. And really, I did choose some kind of like tannish colors, like in the canvas and the ledger paper, but as you can see, I have some dark purple and then the pink there. So I was kind of trying to like keep it so it matched the background, but it doesn't really, because they're not like the same shade or whatever. But I'm going to take care of that later. And then I'm going to staple that flower on, because it was not staying with the glue. So then I'm looking at everything and I'm like, how can I bring this together? So I thought I would do a little dry brushing with some gesso. So I'm just going to take a dry paintbrush and a little bit of gesso, and just go over the elements, the collage elements, really, really lightly, and building up the layers if I want more opacity in the white gesso. And then once I did that, the background looked like really bright. So I decided to go over the whole background with the gesso as well. Now, if I'd known that I wanted it a little lighter, I could have went with a little lighter application when I started in the beginning, but I didn't know how it was going to go. So I'm going to add my fibers with some multimedia matte by Ranger, and I'm going to leave some of them like hanging, flopping around, but the majority of them I'm going to try to glue down, because I don't want any of them to like fall off if they're not glued. But I do want to leave some kind of free, I guess I should say. So then I'm going to add some of these art pebbles and sparkling clear droplets. They're just like clear acetate kind of elements. I just love them so much. They just add like a little something subtle. I'm going to add some three smaller ones up at the top. And I'm just going to glue that down with some gel medium. Once the gel medium dries, it'll be clear. So all you'll be able to see is nothing. Okay, I'm gonna add 1 or 2 down at the bottom, and then I'm gonna take my little girl. She's from the Tim Holtz, what the heck are those? The paper dolls. And she's wearing like a little dress, so and she's like pulling her dress out, so I thought it looked really cute on the flower there. So I'm just gonna have her there like she's standing on the flower. And then once I put her down, I felt like the background was like overwhelming her a little bit, so I'm gonna add some more gesso to the background just to really dull that down so you can see my chick and she's not getting lost in the background. I'm going to add a little bit of white gesso to my flower to tone that down as well. And then I'm going to pop my chick up because the flower is dimensional. I didn't want to glue her flat against the page. So this is like clear dimensional tape. It's from the Letter It collection by Ranger. And so I glued her down with that. And then I'm going to add some sprinkles, splatters with the Lindy's Magicals, but it was like really wow. So I dabbed some of it up, and then I'm going to add a little bit of the rose quartz and dab that up as well, so it's a real subtle color. And then I wanted to add some gold. I just felt like it needed like a little something else. So my flower was just not staying stuck, that one leaf there. So I added a little gel medium, and I'm going to hold it there while I try to find some kind of word, because I felt like it needed some kind of word or phrase or something. So I have these words cut out from a book, and honestly, I don't remember which one I picked, so we're going to find out together. So I'm going to glue that down with some gel medium, and what does it say? Oh, it says she. How profound. So yeah, I just glued that down, and then I put the sparkling clear droplets like over top of that the paper strip there, just so it doesn't look like it's stuck there. And then I can add my splatters. And I did leave a pretty long tail of book page because she is like a really small word, and I wanted it to take up more real estate, but I didn't necessarily like the other word phrases I had that would have been longer. So that's what it is. I'm going to go around my whole card with some light gray ink, just a little something to frame it in. Black would have been way too intense. And then that is it for my trash card. That sounds so horrible. Oh, before we get to the still shots, I have handmade journals, watercolor journals in my Etsy shop. The top one in the picture here is gone, but the bottom two I still have. They're different sizes. I will link that down below if you're interested. And here are the still shots, and thank you so much for watching, and I promise you we will get back on track with videos. I have a whole bunch coming up, so I will talk to you guys soon. Bye bye, guys.